down. Let's preach. Now, the first portion of scripture, I don't know if you know what I was reading. There was 1,000 years. It was mentioned 6 times. 4 times it was mentioned 1,000 years, and twice it was mentioned the 1,000 years. Now, now I am being favorable to those that were not here, but now you are not. You're only going to get the last portion of the book of Revelation. And the ending of the book of Revelation speaks of the 1,000-year reign with the saints of the Most High and Jesus. Someone say Jesus. Now, the question that I posed in the Bible study is, will the saints of God go through the great trouble, meaning the great tribulation that is coming? If you are alive when Jesus comes, the question to that we found in the book, the Bible, it says yes. Now, this is going to bring a lot of controversy, a lot of things that you have heard in the past. This is why the word that God has given us says, read the word, understand the word, live the word. That means you have to read the word for yourself, get an understanding of that same word, and if you don't get the understanding, study it until you do. Because unless you get it, will you not be able to live it. You cannot become a qualified banker if you don't qualify for it. Only when you qualified can you start practicing. Do you understand what I'm saying? Only when you become qualified will you be able to practice. A lawyer cannot practice law unless he has a license to practice law. If he is found practicing the law of South Africa unqualified, he is then qualified to go to jail. He qualifies himself to be imprisoned. Why? Because he wants to be above the law. No one is saying amen. The same principle applies with Christianity. You cannot be above God. You got to follow him. Now, the book of this beautiful book called the Bible teaches us that the Christian folk will not go in the rapture. The rapture happens with the first resurrection and the second resurrection. The first resurrection, those that are alive when Jesus comes back, goes to reign with him for 1,000 years. So Jesus is coming from heaven. Yesterday at the conference, I spoke with one of my brother's friends. And I asked him, so how are you doing, my brother? He says, I'm good. And he asked me, how am I doing? I said, well, while God is still on the throne, I am great. I'm awesome. And he says, like, why are you saying whilst God is still on the throne? I say, because the word of the Lord teaches us that there will be a gnashing of teeth when Jesus leaves the throne. Because when he leaves his throne, he is coming here to judge. Whilst he is still on the throne, he's still there. So there is still grace and mercy for us, those that are not saved. And the next question, when the next reply that he gave me, he says, you know, I'm not perfect, but I'm okay, my situation. And then I stopped him. I said, my brother, stop right there. Can I help you quickly? He says, with what? I said, refrain from saying I am not perfect, but in my situation I'm okay. Because when I say I'm not perfect, I'm preaching to my spirit. You're not preaching to the flesh, you're preaching to the spirit. Because if you keep on saying that you're not perfect, that means you will fail here. Do you understand what I'm saying?